Curse you, Bayle!
Thanks for coming to the video, guys. So, I saw a video recently from Zilly the Witch that really started to make me think about this, because I already kind of thought this in my head, the weird contrast between the two, but after watching this little video, it really put it into perspective to me that they really are the same person. This video is mostly speculation. In all reality, I don't have like firm lore to stand on except for some videos I've seen, but this video might be a little bit rambly. I'm going to try and talk about the fight between Placidusax and Bayle, and then a couple other dragons as well. One other thing I want to say, I don't normally make lore videos since other people have already beat me to it. I'm mostly into the PvP scene. But if you guys are interested in lore videos or even just discussing them, comment if you're interested in the idea of me doing a live stream where we just talk to people about the lore, speculate certain things, topics, and go from there. But anyways, let's get on with the video. So to start, guys, I want to go with the fight between Bayle and Placidusax, and basically like where they both wound up from there. I think when we compare the injuries on both dragons, Placidusax is way better off than Bayle is. Like, Placidusax is missing 3 heads, which is a pretty big deal because he does have 5, and on top of that his body is a little bit ruined, scratched up and everything. But when you look at Bayle, it's almost like incomparable. Bayle took way more damage than Placidusax did. His left side's almost non-existent. His leg is literally severed right at the thigh. On top of that, the wing on his left side basically doesn't even exist. The wing on the right side has an exposed bone that he uses to stab you, but if you even look at that, the wing is in tatters, even on his right side. It's not until phase 2 when he activates his flame lightning that you see what his wings used to be. This really puts into perspective the damage that Placidusax did to him. Even the 2 heads of Placi that are on him, they're biting him in a weird part where it's almost behind the neck. Like it almost looks like Bayle was fleeing when those 2 heads got ripped off. So I believe it was at this moment that Bayle fled the fight because he knew he was going to lose. However he got into the Land of Shadow, I don't know. But that's when they were all marked. The rest of the drakes were all marked for death after that, for Dragon Communion. And this is where I want to draw the first parallel between Bayle and Igon. Igon hated Bayle not because he betrayed Placidusax, but because of the fear that he put into his heart from the fight that they had. I think him being part of Dragon Communion, it was just part of his duty to try and kill Bayle the Dread, because before Dragon Communion, Igon was just a battlefield scavenger with no purpose. It was through the Dragon Communion that he gained purpose. And so when it became time to take out Bayle the Dread, who is the whole reason that the Dragon Communion even exists, he went for it, but after the fight, he was brutally maimed and injured, and left alive. Whether or not this happened on the summit of the jagged peak and he crawled back to where you find him, or the battle was there itself, Igon could not let go of the hatred and the pain that he felt from that fight, because the fear was that deep. And that's his entire reason for continuing to live, is to make sure that Bayle the Dread feels the same fear that Igon does. But what Igon doesn't actually understand is that Bayle already does. It's for this very reason that Bayle injured Igon the way he did, to make sure that Igon felt the way that he felt after his fight with Placidusax. There's a lot of things in the game that allude to Bayle the Dread's rage and fury, and the only thing that I can think of is that this rage and fury didn't exist until he made it into the Land of Shadow, and the entire rage and fury is all because of the fear that he felt when he fought Placidusax. Even though he did some serious damage, he still is the one that ran away from Placidusax. He fled the fight to survive. And that cowardice, if you could call it that, or just the fact that he didn't win, he hates himself for it. And that's what that constant rage is. Bayle's rage is so deep that the magma in the volcano churns and erupts when he roars. Even when you finally defeat him and devour his heart, the spells that you read, they even say that he still won't be subjugated even in death, and that eventually the devourer of the heart will burn away into nothing. This is some serious self-loathing through his own weakness, and he inflicted this upon Igon. And the thing is that Igon wants him to feel that, but like I stated earlier, it was Bayle that made Igon want to feel the way that he felt. Now this next part that I'm going to try and talk about, guys, is me speculating who these dragons are and who did what. In the base game, we see the massive drake Grail, which is immobile, and she is the mother of all drakes. But the one thing is you can actually never see who the father is. The only other dragon that we ever saw that was near her size or bigger was Grand Sax. But Grand Sax is an ancient dragon, not a drake. But when we get into the DLC, we see another massive drake. This is the one that's killed with its heart ripped out, where the dragon priestess is. In my opinion, guys, this drake shown here in the DLC is without a doubt the father of all drakes. You know, Grail's man, Grail's boyfriend, here in the Land of Shadow and killed. Now, the real question is, who killed this? There's a colossal dragon communion spear in its neck and its heart is ripped out. But the thing is this, guys, there is no way that anybody who participates in dragon communion could ever wield a dragon communion harpoon of that size. The only one that makes sense of who could wield that would be Grand Sax, because those who participate in dragon communion are human. I mean, the dragon priestess herself participates and turned herself into a human, but she's originally an ancient dragon, and even as a human, she's not large. The only one who could have held something that large and killed that drake would have been Grand Sax. Now, why he would have eaten the drake's heart as well, I'm not sure, but he is the only person I can think of that killed it. And that's really it for the video, guys. There were just a couple topics I wanted to talk about from some videos I've seen. I saw some thumbnail alluding to the fact that maybe the Nox finally were successful when they created Bayle, and he is actually the perfect Dragonkin soldier and was made to do what he did, which would be an interesting parallel, because if Bayle felt fear, I don't think any ancient dragons ever feel fear. I think they are just too base and too natural to feel something like that. But go ahead and leave a comment, guys, if you think I missed something or if I have this totally backwards. Again, this is all information that I've seen from what I've read, videos I've listened to, item descriptions I've read myself, and where people are in the game. I'm not an expert at this, but it's just things I wanted to talk about, guys. Elden Ring lore is supposed to be fun, you know? I'm not just gonna go out on a limb and say crazy stuff, but at the same time, you know, there is a lot of speculation you can do with games like this, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please comment and let me know if you want to see more. Thanks for watching, guys.